So this terrible two-headed monster was chasing me in my nightmares, and I ripped off its head. Here is its headless corpse. Okay, it didn't go quite like that. Let's back it up a little bit and see how it really happened. This harp headstock was poorly reset, and so I need to take it off. Time to use my Ferrari. That's not a good sound. As you heard and probably saw, the headstock cracked when I pulled it off, but it was already cracked and not that beautifully glued, so it's an opportunity to re-glue it a little cleaner, hopefully.
I'm trapped in a prison of my own emotions.
There's already been some touch-up and paint work done here, so we've got our work cut out for us. In truth, this isn't a monster, it's a Schrammel guitar, a German harp guitar, in this case with only one neck. But what the fuck is a Schrammel guitar? According to the interwebs, the Schrammel guitar was initially an invention of Stauffer, one of the most famous luthiers of all time, but I guess he failed and gave up. And one of his mentees, Scherzer, gets credit for its invention in the mid-19th century. Its most common usage was in Alpine and Viennese folk music. The Schrammel music seems to normally include 2 fiddles or violins, an accordion, and a Schrammel guitar. But I have no idea if it's still in use. It is a Brazilian rosewood body, and this support helps with the extra tension of the harp neck. The side has a rather hideous previous repair, and the back has a couple of really gnarly cracks and some less gnarly cracks, but the gnarly cracks are buckled pretty badly. And there's more by the neck block here too. Part of the headstock remains here. We'll clean up all the rest and leave that in place to register the headstock when we re-glue it. Not great, not terrible. I studied Heidegger in university, but not this one. The final paper I wrote on Martin Heidegger the thesis was that it was inevitable for him to become a Nazi based on his own philosophy. I got like a B+. It's ladder braced in a predictable and robust way. There are 2 here, 1, 2, and 3 here. There is also an additional support block there for the metal neck support. Let's start super simple with this headstock crack. We're gonna pull it open, shove in glue. Pull it open, shove in glue. You can see it's coming through to the other side. And we got some more to deal with right here. Probably should have pulled the tuners off first. Okay, to keep everything lined up, this is where we left it. Based on the glue here, you can tell that this is exactly where it broke the first time before they re-glued the headstock. Still working on cleaning this up. We're getting there. There's significantly less protrusion here at the joint. It's a little ugly, but this has all been touched up before. You can even see some like texture on the neck from a bad paint job. So we'll be sanding this back and respraying. You can see these hollow barrels are wrapped around and then pinned to the inner steel core that's attached to the screw. Let's see if they've done anything on the inside to address this crack. Well, you can't really see much because a majority of it is at the line or behind the line of the lining. Sometimes I'm in a hurry, so much of a hurry I don't put on a shirt, try not to get too horned up, but also so much of a hurry I don't want to wait for hot hide glue. I'm going to use wood glue on this just like was used previously because I just want to get it done and clamped so that I can move this project along. My hide glue that I had in the fridge went moldy, so I have to mix a new batch, and I will do that for the rest of the repairs, but for the headstock, on we go. I use hot hide when I feel it's really necessary, neck resets, etc. On this guy, we're just doing it. We're just doing it.
We're doing it well.
And I also just like having the open time. Hot hide glue sets so quickly that you're pretty stressed every time you use it. And with the wood glue here, you got time to wipe it down. I haven't even looked for my clamps yet. For downward pressure, we're going with surgical cord here. And then one of these guys, just for shits and giggles. This is the part in the repair where I realize I didn't take a thumbnail pic with the headstock off. So for these cracks, we've got some aesthetic options. We could do a kintsugi thing with gold, which I don't really know if it works on guitars. We could just fill it with super glue and rosewood dust, and it will end up, I don't know, that might look fine. It's obviously not the normal path of the grain. And a third option I thought is to incorporate more herringbone and do a strip that will cover 95% of the crack. On either side it'll be symmetrical. Something like that. I don't know. It looks maybe cool. In that case, I would put a cleat on the back, a very firm cleat, so that I could pull the two pieces level with one another. And for that, we would use these type of clamps. I don't know if you've seen these before, but essentially you just use the tuner to pull things tight. And you do have to have a tiny hole through your piece of wood you're fixing, but luckily this one has giant holes throughout, so that's not an issue. I also have some pieces of Teflon here that don't stick to glue. Also, an important detail not to forget, gotta wash off the dust from the inside first. Luthier's bathroom. To no one's surprise, you can see there's little gaps under the braces at the cracks as well. So that's something else we have to address. Now with the light inside, I can find where the braces are. This one I'll have to push the light in further, but we'll start with this one. And here again, we are going with wood glue because the open time on the hot hide is just too short. So yeah, I put it on this thin little feeler gauge, and then I'll get my hand in there under every part of the brace, and then I'll clean it up, and then I'll clamp it. Then to make sure that the top is level across the crack, I put a domino on it. The other side of the brace is loose too, but I'm going to use a slightly different approach on that one. Use this small wedge of spruce to wedge between the back brace and the top brace to push it downward. And then I'm going to use a soft amount of pressure on the underside here with a cam clamp or whatever the heck they're called to make sure there's full contact between the brace and the back.
Please continue to hold so that you keep your call in priority. A customer service representative will be with you shortly. If you prefer to leave a voicemail message, please press 1.
I've been on hold for 2 hours. My dad died and I'm trying to cancel his accounts, and it's much harder than I expected. He didn't leave a will or an executor or anything. And it turns out you can't just call these places and be like, hey, he's dead. Shut off the valve. And so, I might be on hold for 2 hours for no reason. Meanwhile, upstairs, I can't film it because I use my phone to film. I'm filling cracks on the rosewood back by clamping it in various places to keep the crack level with both sides. And I'm just filling it with wood glue, then a layer of rosewood dust, then a layer of wood glue, then a layer of rosewood dust. And it looks pretty good from certain angles. From other angles, it's very matte versus glossy. Maybe once all the work is done, I can run a coat of shellac over everything and it will look good. We'll find out. Kind of stands out like a sore thumb, but here are some earlier ones that have been done and they darkened up with some water. Obviously, yeah, at an angle. Like these aren't lined up yet. These I will probably do the trick with the clamps again and some fairly robust cleats to hold these together. And same over here. What you need to understand here is this is very little pressure. If I did a lot of pressure, then I'd end up pushing through the soundboard and creating more cracks that I'm fixing. It's just enough in the right spots to get things perfectly level on the crack. Much more often you'll see this type of crack fix done with super glue because it firms up really well, and we may top coat it with super glue, but it has a greater impact on the texture of the finish, whereas this you can wash off and you only have a texture difference in the crack itself. With the super glue, it pore fills and it fills all the grain and imperfections that are in the finish, and then you end up seeing it regardless. So I'm starting with this, and we will move on to our cleats on this side. If I route for those strips, that will get rid of all the buckling because it's all within this narrow area. But if I fill it with super glue, it will not get rid of the buckling. And then when you sand it back, the wood will be sanded back further here, and it will be lighter and more evident. The glue up here worked well. It's nice and level, except for down here is buckled still. But here you can hear it goes straight across. This area is still completely effed. Up here is a little better. Like, this takes so much pressure to even to attempt to push it into place that even if I cleat it and glue it, it's going to pop back up. It's pretty dramatic and pretty stubborn. Again, here's the mock-up with the other pieces. It would not continue to the upper bouts, just down here. I don't know, does that look stupid? I suppose there's a third very desirable option of just ignoring them and making it playable and deciding later. Let's just take a moment and sort out this area. This is pretty weak, so we're gonna add a cleat in here. All my medium CA glue is solidified, so I'm going to try extra thin and just lay it on thick. This end of the gap, it's nice and level now, but here there's still kind of cavity where the blade won't run across the surface level. You can see some of the old ugly fill here. So we might do another coat and try to get that all leveled out. Yeah, so we're roughing in the nut, putting in some more cleats here and there. Gonna check to see if my second coat of super glue filled in the gap here, and then we'll run some shellac on that and see how the finish likes it. And that will help us determine how to finish up our back. All right, well, it turns out the area that I put the cyanoacrylate, or CA, or super glue on is pretty discolored. I don't know if it was from me or from before, but it's very dark and probably won't blend that well, but at least we're gonna put some shellac on top and see. It's definitely gonna be dark, but it might blend okay once it's all a uniform gloss. Ooh, it's even worse. It's so dark. Here you can see what I meant about my fears about super glue creating a glossier surface than a natural surface. The silver lining is the shellac blends seamlessly with the original finish. You can't even really tell where it's overlapped. But this looks horrible. It's so dark. It's crazy. For whatever reason, this extremely sharp serrated knife is my go-to for starting slots in the nut. Now I understand you're probably like, why haven't you painted that yet? Well, let's see if it can hold up to the tension first. And I'm not gonna have time to do lacquer for this video because I am way behind schedule and anticipate being behind schedule for a little while still. So we're gonna do playability over aesthetics, and still haven't decided about that last thick crack either. Son of a... Sometimes trying to get that angle for the camera means you do a bad job, so... Whoops, wrong hole. Now I'm just putting on the outer two strings, and that will help me establish the height I want my slots all the way across the nut. Once again, whoops, I do not have the Schrammel drone strings. Barely have enough nylon strings, so I'm gonna have to see if I can find anything suitable. These are the nylon wound strings that I need, and I don't think anyone will have them locally. There's only one store open right now, and the last time I went there, no one on staff had even heard of a tenor guitar. And so I'm not very hopeful they'll have specialized strings or even appropriate proximities for a Schrammel guitar or contra guitar. I actually contacted this company's social media manager to see if they wanted to sponsor my YouTube channel. And I wasn't even asking for money, which most sponsors actually pay money. I was just seeing if they wanted to like partner up and lend me instruments from time to time. And so I could do comparisons, cost them nothing, free advertising. The social media manager checked out my videos. He was like, I actually watched the whole thing, which I never do. And he contacted the local manager and rental manager, and they were like, we've never heard of him. I'm like, I've never heard of you either. Basically, I'm a single father with social anxiety and a life. I don't really have a life. But, you know, I have things to do other than hang around the local chain guitar store, getting to know the management. I don't blame them for not wanting to sponsor me, but it was pretty short-sighted to not just take free advertising in exchange for lending me random shit. Anyway, I used to dumpster dive here mostly for boxes for shipping guitars, but now they got it locked up. It's for a Contra guitar. So like a 7-string? Yeah. They only had 3 usable gauges, and the strings were $5.60 per. A set of these same strings is $14 for 6. So, needless to say, that's a terrible deal. It's 25 bucks for 4 strings. Obviously, the onus is on me for not thinking ahead and ordering these strings. Oh well. I don't know if you know this, but they make one side of the string all janky so you can tie a knot in it. It's either that or they screw up every time. Mother. Just kidding, guys. Don't snort bone dust. It so happens I have an additional Schrammel guitar here. This one, the label is blank. It is 7 sub-bass strings. This one has a double V-joint. That seems even more difficult to reset. It also has a clock key neck adjuster, which is nice. Okay, in the end, the crack is very visible, but at least the button is stable and functional. Unlike yo mama. I've never actually looked up the proper way to string a nylon string, but for the actual nylon non-wound strings, I just double up through the hole. And then keep it under tension until I get a little pressure on either side. Starting with the first loop on the side we're not aiming for, and the second loop on the side we are aiming to have our string on. In this case, because it's going towards the middle, we want it on the outer edge so that it crosses over and doesn't run into the peg head. And this creates a tension on either side of the string. You can cinch that up a little bit. after you tune a nylon string guitar the first time. Nailed it. All right, this bitch is strung up. It's not staying in tune for very long, but let's go find a place to play and eke out a couple of little ditties between tunings. It's hard to find a quiet spot. Try to go to the beach and there's blaring techno. Which way shall I take? Shots of voice in the night. I'm a pilgrim, weary and spent. And I seek for a palace that rests on a hill, but between us a stream lieth, sullen and chill. Obviously much left to be desired here. I don't know how to play this thing, and I left some of those repairs ugly but functional. That one crack is still wide open. It doesn't affect the playability, but this guitar is mine. I'm not selling it anytime soon, so I'll just leave it.